Hey y'all, Redneck Reads Reddit. Coming to y'all with a little malicious compliance today. Give you what you asked for? Okay then, by Mythic Mudkip. Sorry if this reads slightly awkward. I'm censoring the combo in case r slash or another YouTuber uses my story. Thank you! I'm not r slash. I've seen his content. I kind of enjoy it. Alright, I used to work in a tech store. You could reserve items online and you'd have 2 days to collect it before it went back on the shelves and anyone could buy it. You can also order items to the store, but you have to pay. This means we use different systems to look up reservations and orders. It's also worth noting that I'm female, young, and short. So lots of customers think they can intimidate me into doing what they want and don't always take me seriously. People. Anyway, let's see here. This takes place on a fairly typical day of retail. About an hour before the end of my shift, nothing in particular had happened until Jerk walked in. Jerk, I want my speaker. Okay, sir, was this a reservation or an order? Just give me my speaker. Me, I decided to try reservations if it works. Okay, can I get your surname, please? It's Jerk. I checked, and it was a reservation, but it had expired over a week ago. Okay, Mr. Jerk, it seems like your reservation has expired. I'll check to see if we still have any. You flipping better have one. I spend loads of money here. If you messed up and sold it to someone else, I will call trading standards. Me deciding to ignore his anger. Okay, you're in luck. We have 3 left in stock. Then get your lazy butt over there already. You've wasted enough of my time. I go get the speaker. One of my co-workers hovers around the corner ready to step in. As I bring the speaker to Jerk, I notice that the brand of speaker had an offer that isn't advertised, and that you have to put it through manually. Despite the fact that Jerk was a jerk, and I don't have to add the discount, I'll do it anyway. So speaker brand is on offer right now, so with that discount, your total is, well, basically £40. Jerk, no it isn't. You got the wrong speaker. The one I ordered is £60. Me, it was £60, but I added a discount, so don't lie to me, you stupid dog. You're trying to trick me into getting a poopy speaker because you know you got the wrong one. Give me the £60 speaker, you idiot. This is why women shouldn't work with tech. They don't know what they're doing. Yes, he really said that. Coworker angrily, listen, sir. Me seeing a chance for malicious compliance. Oh, don't worry, coworker. I'll get the $60 speaker. And I give my coworker a poo-eating grin as I walk off. I go back to the cage where the speakers are kept, unlock the door, put the speaker back, and immediately pick up the same speaker again before walking to the counter. I then proceed to ring up the speaker without the $20 discount, or without the £20 discount. Here you go, sir. Sorry for the confusion. About time. He pays and leaves. Coworker, was that the same speaker? Yup. And you just ignored the discount? Yup. Coworker, nice. Hey, too long didn't read Jerk demands I charge him extra. Head it by popular suggestion. I've cross-posted this to a-hole tax. Alrighty. Jerk tax. She charged him jerk tax. Yes, love. Would you like me to pause this?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be back. We're back. That didn't take long. At least not for y'all. Okay, this one is... What is this one? Let me see here. Okay, not allowed to use tools? Okay. By Texan Studio. Recently, my place of work has disallowed me, our entire floor, access to use the Reg Edit tool on clients' machines to do repairs. Problem, about 75% of the fixes requires the use of Registry Edit to add, remove, or modify registry keys and the data therein. This means a lot more transfers on my numbers, which is not okay. Now, I want to do right by my clients, and I know I can use command prompt, with admin access, of course. Cue malicious compliance. Instead of using registry edit, I use the GUI for modifying, registry entries. I instead use the reg command through command prompt. Technically, not breaking any rules. This does add about 10 minutes more to my work tickets, but the supervisor has given me the green light to do this. He hates the floor manager too. To make a long story short, my workaround, works. And I'm predicting there will be a change in the rules soon. Okay. Yep, right there is just people trying to make more work for other people so they can justify having their job. Okay. Share with the meeting while you're laughing. By Green Twin. I work for a large manufacturing organization that has a penchant for mature hierarchy. As such, we have a lot of meetings with a lot of managers, and the whole enterprise would be better off if we had less of each. One such meeting I must attend, the area-specific morning stand-up. It is really just an ego-stroking exercise where the second-level manager makes his first-line manager support staff sitting a meeting for an hour. Hold that thought. You looking for car keys? Give me a second. Be right back. So, have we held that thought? Anyway, meeting for an hour, yada, yada, yada. We could automate most of this meeting and several other areas of our organization try to varying degrees. But then, this feudal lord of management wouldn't be able to see his fiefdom every day. I digress. This is a low to no value meeting. And as such, I generally sit in my corner and quietly read social media, the news, or similar. But today I messed up. I was reading one of my favorite Reddit stories for a pick-me-up to deal with another day of drudgery, and I couldn't hold in all my chuckles. Lord Manager stopped the meeting to demand what was so funny, and wouldn't let me bow out gracefully. He insisted on getting the full scoop, and this is how I was allowed to tell the swamps of Dagobah to a score of senior manufacturing personnel, managers, leads, support staff, before most people ate breakfast. It was glorious, and many unhappy faces were seen around the meeting room. Several breakfasts were skipped too. If you've not read the story, you can find it with a simple Google search, or at, and he gives a link. Warning, graphic content, bodily fluids, and a medical setting. Prewarned link was pre-warned. What am I clicking? What have you made me click? I have clicked it. Oh yeah, everything is uploading right now, so... Okay, oh Lord, this is long. Okay. Yep. Okay. This was by Bonsai Panda about 7 years ago, so okay. From an Ask Reddit, doctors, nurses, Redditors, what's your most gory, disgusting, worst medical experience? Oh, Jesus. Okay, OR nurse here. This is kind of a long one. I was taking call one night and woke up at 2 in the morning for a general surgery call. Pretty vague, but at the time I lived in a town that had a large populations of young military guys and avid meth users. So late night emergencies were common. Go to the hospital, where a few more details awaited me. Perirectal abscess. For the uninitiated, this means that somewhere in the immediate vicinity of the rectum, there is a pocket of pus that needed draining. Needless to say, our entire crew was less than thrilled. I'm not thrilled. But let's get it done. I went to the emergency room to transport the patient, and the only thing the ER nurse said as she handed me the chart was, "Have fun with this one." Among healthcare professionals, vague statements like that are a bad sign. My patient was a 314-pound Native American woman who barely fit on the stretcher I was transporting her on. She was frantically rolling side to side and moaning in pain, pulling at her clothes and muttering Hail Marys. I could barely get her name out of her after a few minutes of questioning, so I confirmed her identity and what we were working on. I figured it best to just get her to the anesthesiologist so we could knock her out and get this circus started. She continued her theatrics for the entire minute ride to the OR, nearly falling off the surgical table as we were trying to put her under anesthetic. I see patients like this a lot, though. Chronic drug users who don't handle pain well and who simply use so many drugs that increase levels of pain medication don't touch simply because of their high tolerance levels. It should be noted, tonight's surgical team was not exactly wet behind the ears. I've been working in healthcare for several years already, mostly psych and medical settings. I watched an 88-year-old man tear a 1-inch diameter catheter balloon out of his... Well, you know where catheters go. While screaming, "You'll never make me talk." Been attacked by an HIV-positive neo-Nazi. I've seen some crap. The other nurse has been in the OR as a trauma specialist for over 10 years. The anesthesiologist has done a residency at a level 1 trauma center, or as we call them, knife and gun clubs. The surgeon was ex-Army and averaged about 8 words and 2 facial expressions a week. None of us expected what was about to happen next. Okay. We got the lady off to sleep, put her into stirrups, and I began washing off the rectal area. It was red and inflamed. A little bit of pus was sweeping through, but it was all pretty standard. Her chart noted that she had been injecting drugs into her perineum. So this was obviously an infection from dirty needles or bad drugs. But it didn't seem to warrant her repeated cries of, "Oh Jesus, kill me now." The surgeon steps up with a scalpel, sinks just the tip in, and at that exact moment the patient had a muscle twitch in her diaphragm. And just like that, all hell broke loose. Unbeknownst to us, the infection had actually tunneled nearly a foot into her abdomen, creating a vast cavern full of pus, rotten tissue, and fecal matter that had seeped outside of her colon. This godforsaken mixture came rocketing out of that little incision like we were recreating the funeral scene from Jane Austen's Mafia. We all wear waterproof gowns, face masks, gloves, hats, the works, all of which were helpful as rain boots against a fire hose. The bed was in the middle of the room. It was an easy 7 feet to the nearest wall. But by the time we were done, we were still finding bits of her pasted against the back wall. As the surgeon continued to advance his blade, the torrent continued. The patient kept seizing against the ventilator, not uncommon in surgery, and with every muscle contraction, she shot more of this brackish gray-brown fluid out onto her floor until within minutes it was seeping into the other nurse's shoes. I was nearly 12 feet away, jaw open within my surgical mask, watching the second nurse dry heaving and the surgeon standing on his tiptoes to keep the stuff soaking into his socks and his smoke. And the smell hit him first. Oh God, I just threw up in my mask. The other nurse was out. She tore off her mask and sprinted out of the room, shoulders still heaving. Then it hit me. Mouth still wide open. I was not able to believe the volume of blood this woman's body contained. Oh my God, it was like getting a big bite of despair and apathy. For me, this was life. I couldn't freaking breathe. My lungs simply refused to pull any more of that stuff in. The anesthesiologist went down next. Like an exit. Hey, do you want to tell back? His 6'2" frame shaking as he threw open the door to the OR suite in an attempt to get more area, letting me glimpse the second nurse still throwing up in the sinks outside the door. Another geyser of pus splashed across the front of the surgeon. The YouTube clip of David at the dentist keeps playing in my head. Is this real life? In all the operating rooms anywhere in the world, regardless of socialized, privatized, secular, or religious, big or small, there is one thing the same. Somewhere, there is a bottle of peppermint concentrate. Everyone in the department knows where it is, and everyone knows what it is for, and everyone prays to the gods that they never have to use it. It is a time like this we rub it on the insides of our masks to keep the outside smells at bay long enough to finish the procedure and shower off. I sprinted to our central supply, ripping the drawer open, where this vial of ambrosia is kept, to be greeted by an empty freaking box. The bottle had been emptied and not replaced. Somewhere out there was a godless that used the last of the peppermint oil and not replaced a single freaking drop of it. To this day, if I figure out who it was, I will kill them with my bare hands. But not before cramming their head up the colon of every last meth user I can find, just so we're even. I hurried back in the room with the next best thing I find, a vial of masticol, which is an adhesive rub we use sometimes for bandaging. It's not as good as peppermint, but considering that over 1/3 of the floor was now thoroughly coated in what can be easily mistaken as a combination of bovine afterbirth and maple syrup, we were out of options. Oh my God, it just keeps going. Why? I started rubbing as much masticol as I could get in the middle of on the inside of my mask. Just to be glad to be smelling anything except whatever slimy devil spawn would just cut out of this woman. The anesthesiologist grabbed the vial next and dousing the front of his mask in it so he could stand next to his machines long enough to make sure this woman didn't die on the table. It wasn't until later that we realized that masticol gave you a mild high from huffing it like this, but in retrospect, that's probably what got us through. Oh my God! No! Oh no! Oh, by this time the smell had permeated out of the OR suite, down the 40-foot hallway to the front desk where the other nurse still sat, eyes bloodshot and watery, clenching her stomach desperately. Our suite looked like the underground river of ooze from Ghostbusters 2. Except dirty. Oh, so dirty. I stepped back inside the OR suite, not wanting to leave the surgeon by himself, in case he genuinely needed help. It was like one of those overly artistic representations of a zombie apocalypse you see on fan forums. There is this one guy in blue surgical garb, standing nearly ankle deep in lumps of dead tissue, fecal matter, and several layers of syrupy infection. He was performing the surgery in the swamps of Dagobah, except the swamps had just come out of this woman's ass, and there was no Yoda! Oh my God! He and I didn't say a word for the next 10 minutes as he scraped the inside of the abscesses till all the dead tissue was out. The front of his gown was a gruesome mixture of brown and red. His eyes squinted against the stinging vapors directly in front of him. I finished my required paperwork as quickly as I could. Helped him stuff the recently vacated opening full of gauze, taped this woman's buttocks closed to hold the dressing for as long as possible, woke her up, and immediately shipped off to the recovery ward. Oh God. Until then, I'd only ever heard of alcohol showers. It turns out 70% isopropyl alcohol is about the only thing that can even touch a scent like that once it's soaked into your skin. It takes 4 or 5 bottles to really get clean, but it's worth it. It's probably the only scenario that I can endorse drinking a little of it too. Oh my God. As we left the locker room, the surgeon and I looked at each other. He said the only negative sentence I've heard him utter in 2.5 years of working together. That was bad. The next morning, the entire department, a fairly large floor within the hospital, still smelled. The housekeepers told me it took them nearly an hour to suction up all the fluid and debris left behind. The OR suite itself was closed off and quarantined for 2 more days just to let the smell clear out. I laugh now when I hear new recruits in healthcare talk about the worst thing they've seen. Y'all ain't seen crap, kid. Too long didn't read. Don't shoot ice hooks into your tank. Oh my God, no. Oh God, no. 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 There was no Yoda! I Y'all, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, ding, make sure you click all whatever the hell, y'all, and especially, who the hell wrote this again? Bonsai Panda? Have a blessed one. And many more. Oh my God. Oh shit. I'm out of here, y'all. Bye.